Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your DevOps SRE DevSecOps coach. I have close to 18 plus years of experience working in multiple MNCs around the globe and having in-depth knowledge of DevOps, SRE and DevSecOps. So I would like to introduce you one certification program in a DevOps, and that is we call it DevOps Certified Professional. Now this is a 2 months of program, 25 tools of DevOps you will learn, and apart from that you will also get the access to the LMS, lifetime access to the videos portal. It's a certification program, and you will have 25 assignments and 2 projects along with it. It's a completely weekend program, so here you have classes on Saturday and Sunday. So as part of this course, you will learn multiple things. Here you see that you will learn Linux, AWS, Docker, Jira, Confluence, Python, Git with GitHub, SonarQube, Maven, Gradle, Packer, Artifactory, Selenium, JMeter, Ansible, Kubernetes, Helm, Terraform, Jenkins, Datadog, Splunk, and Neuralink. Now, how do we, apply for this? So how can you reach out to us? So you have a WhatsApp number and email ID, so please reach out to us and we'll help you to onboard this program. Apart from this DevOps certified professional programs, we are offering other certifications as well in a DevSecOps, SRE, and one of the very comprehensive programs which we have is in Master in DevOps Engineering. Yeah, so feel free to get in touch with us and then enroll for it. Thank you. So today I'm going to talk about the remaining things of Docker. We have 2 sessions more actually today, and then next Friday we'll have one more sessions on this. So let's get started. So yesterday, I mean last class, which I discussed about what is Docker and then why we need a Docker, how to install Docker, right? And then how to work with containers. Basically, we work with the container lifecycle and stuff like that. And also we discuss about the architecture of Docker. So now let's get started with Docker component. Let's cover the Docker architecture again and Docker components. Docker lifecycle, which I have already discussed. So and stuff like that. How to Docker lives, no, not lifecycle, workflow, workflow. Now container lifecycle, I need to discuss actually. So container lifecycle that I have shown you yesterday, but formally I'll discuss. And then after that, container lifecycle, and then after that, I'm going to tell you how to use container. Okay. So these are the things which I'm going to talk about it. So Docker architecture, what is that? So Docker architecture means we are the human. We send the command to client, Docker client. When I say client means Docker client. Now Docker client send the command to Docker daemon, Docker server, and Docker server send the request to Docker, this container D, and container D send the request to the kernel, and kernel which create namespaces and all, which I talked about it yesterday. Okay, so this is the architecture. Now workflow, what happens? Um Image. I hope you remember that last session we had an image. We were creating a container from the image, right? So here in the workflow, when you send the command to the client, okay, and client send the command to Docker server here check the image, check the image. Now image is in local, okay. If it's in local directory, for example, let me show you here. Let's say, you see my font style for this. It's visible for everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here Docker images. So this machine, and just give me 2 seconds. And I'll have one more machine. Docker images. Yeah. So many images you see that here, and here I don't have any images. Uh, here, mm, oh, Docker is not installed here, so no problem. But here, it's hanging a little bit. Huh. So many images I'm having here. So this is what you have the Docker image. So the flow is uh, first Docker server check the images in local. If it's there, then create a container with the help of containerd and kernel. If not, then download from the hub. Okay, download from hub, Docker hub. So in short, what are the components of Docker? So this we have more or less understood this. First component is Docker um, engine. What is the Docker engine? So Docker engine is nothing but this software, the one which installed it yesterday, I mean last session, that's called Docker engine. So when you install the Docker engine, you have a Docker client and Docker server which you got it. Okay, so this is the first component what you have in this. Second component which we have is Docker image. So this image comes from where? So this image, either you develop an image, next class I'll teach you how to develop an image, but this image is coming from registry. Now what is registry concept? So registry is a place where you have a repository, and repository in conceptual way, if you say, so repository, we have a GitHub also is a registry in that case, because there we have a repository also. Yes, so conceptually GitHub is also a registry, but GitHub contains the repository which where you can store the source code. But here I will need hub.docker.com, the one which I showed you. So that is also registry. So here you have a repository, and inside the repository you have an image file system. So what is the image then? So image is nothing but a collections of, or I'll say version of, or a layer of file system, whatever you want to call it. Okay, file system. Now anyone remember that what is a file system? All of you, what are the three types of file system in the image we had last session I discussed? Anyone remember the boot file system? Remember that? So here VM image and Docker image. What is the difference? So VM image, we have a boot file system plus root file system plus application file system, and then plus user file system. Okay. Uh, but in Docker image, what we'll have is only root file system and application file system and user file system. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here image is nothing but a layer or a version of file system, like a root file system, app file system, user file system. So that is your image. Okay. So in simple way, from where do we get downloading this image? From hub.docker.com. Inside that there'll be repo. Repo name is equal to image name, by the way. Okay, don't get confused. And inside the repo name or image name repository, you'll have an image which you download from using the pull command. So that is the second component. Okay. Third component, what we have, Docker registry, which I discussed actually already. So Docker registry is like here. Hub.docker.com is this one. Google registry is also there. Okay, Google registry. If you look at this here, this right now, this screen, let me, here. So this is the Google registry actually. So see here, repository named with this is a Google registry. But if I'll download Docker pull Ubuntu, so that's one of the image which I'm downloading from the hub.docker.com. So now if you see that I just downloaded, and you see here Ubuntu, this is from the default registry which is hub. Okay, so you can download from the different registries. You can work on it. Google registry, Amazon ECR registry, Azure registry, and all kind of things. A private registry also you can set it up using Artifactory or Nexus or something like that. And the fourth thing is Docker container, which you know very well by now. So what happens when humans send the client to the server, and server have the image downloaded, then request send it to the from server to container D, and container D request to the kernel, and kernel create one user, and then what, one mnt mount, which is this mount come from the image. Okay, and then what I forgot actually, do you remember anyone? One user, one mount, and then
PID.
one network, and then one PID, correct? And then after that user get attached to all, and that is called container, correct now, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So this is the four component always. So how do we get started? Install engine, which you I showed you, then download image from where, registry, and Docker create start container, simple. This is the workflow. Container lifecycle I have discussed already, but I will remind you one more time. Create a container, then start a container, then stop the container, then what? Restart the container, then what? Restart, then pause a container,
Pause,
then
pause, unpause,
unpause a,
kill.
yeah, and kill the container, and then remove the container. This command I have shown you last time also, just to recap that stuff. Okay, so now the question is how to use container. Okay, how to use container, how do we go inside, how to access and all this, I'll talk about it now, and some other commands also. Before that, I want to understand one important thing. If you forget this, you'll not be able to work in the container, and that is called PID1 concept. You know what is a PID1? Let me show you. Go to my box. This is my box, right? So clear the screen. Docker, not Docker, ps-eaf. Okay, so here see that this is the PID one of your system VM. Okay, so every time the first PID after the zero in Windows is a 4 actually, first PID, but in Linux is a first itself. So first PID after the zero basically runs your operating system. In your Windows also, Linux also, VM also, physical machine also, a laptop also, it's the same concept. Who runs your operating system? Process, first process after the zero. Okay, so the concept of PID1 has to be remembered. Your VM is running, sorry, not physical server is running because of PID1. Getting my points, all of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello? Your
Yes, sir.
VM is running. VM is running because of PID1. So now the concept is same. Container is also running because of PID1. Okay, so this concept, PID1 is not running, container is not running. PID1 is not running, VM is not running. It's in shutdown mode. Our laptop also not running. Okay, so here PID1 in the physical server, PID1 is your system D. In the VM also it's a system D. But in a container you cannot have a system D daemon. Why? Because in a container you see that container we don't have a boot. Where is that? I wrote here. See, in the image you have only root, not a boot. This is a kernel, right? So only root, not a boot. So because of that, here you don't have a system D. So what is there? Actually, PID1 can be anything actually. Anything. Yes. So let me show you here. Look at my screen. If I do Docker PS here, running container, no, no, exiting container, no, Docker images. These are the images I'm having. Okay, and I will run few containers just for Docker run -itt Ubuntu. Enter. Run I have not taught you. I know that. So just be with me sometime. So two containers I created just for the demo from one Ubuntu and one HTTPD. So guys, Docker PS. See here. So in the first container, if you see that the PID one is HTTP hyphen foreground. And second container, if you see that from Ubuntu, its PID one is bin bash. You want to check it out? So Docker execute which container? This container and run ps-ef. Agree with me, all of you? PID1, save in bash.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here, think a very simple statement, hard code that. Many of you say, Rajesh, I'm running the container, but it's exiting. Some of say, Rajesh, I'm running a container, it's running. So why is running? Why exiting? Answer is hidden here. As long as the PID one of the container is in running state, your container will keep on running. If that will run and exit, your container will also get exited. So now you'll say, Rajesh, how can I make a container running? So you have to develop an image like that, which will keep on running PID1, or some workaround is also there through the command line. Right now, I not don't want to get into that, but it's like that. But conceptually understand that, right? All of you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys, how to
Does
use container? Yeah, tell me.
so does PID 0 exist?
See, everything exists from nothing, and that yes, PID 0 is coming. You see that here, PPID. See, this is a PID 1, right? And who's the parent of PID 1? 0. Here also, you see here, this is the VMs, this is the PID 1, and then this is a PPID. So everything comes, life comes from the nothing. Okay. So life means compute is also life, right? Is running,
Yeah.
right? It has intelligence, though emotion is not there, right? So it is coming from the zero. Okay, so uh, mm, that is something which we have. So how to use container? So let's say if I give you laptop, how to use it? If I give you VM, how to use it? You go inside it. That's the one thing, right? And second thing, access from outside. Correct now? This is something you will do. So when you go inside it, you are a human being, right? So how do you interact with the compute unit? Let's say, forget about the UI, okay? You have to sacrifice the UI when you are in a DevOps engineering. UI is like for the management and all. Okay. So when you want to interact with the compute unit, let's say Linux box, Windows box, then through the command line, how do you do that? So you are using shell, right? Correct now? So here we have for Windows, we have a PowerShell. For Linux, we have Bash shell, C shell, Conch shell, and all kind of things. So right. So if you want to go inside that, you have to use a shell because you are a human. You need interacting with a shell. Okay. If you want to access that from outside, then you need IP address and protocol like HTTP or something like that. Correct now? So okay. So how do I go inside it? So guys, there is one command. If you see that here, look at my screen. There is one command which is called exec. So using exec command, what you can do, you can run any executable inside a container. So you see the Docker exec and container ID ls. See that I am able to run this is running inside a container. Mind it, it's not in VM. The VM is here. This is a container. I hope you are getting my points. Correct now, all of you? Hello, am I
Yes.
not audible, all of you?
Yes.
You are
No, you
audible.
are audible.
Okay, someone is reporting I'm not audible. Poonam, can you hear me now? Okay, I think she has some problem with audio. Yeah, so here using yeah. So using exec command, you can run the any executable inside a container. Okay. So ls do, you see that? So I can run it. So same command you can use to run bin bash. So bin bash, because I'm a human being, I want to interact, I need a shell. But you know what? If you run it, then it will go run and exit. That's the problem. So I need to keep it on hold, interact mode. So here IT I will add it. So here I'm saying, hey Docker, execute this executable inside this container, but in interactive mode. Where are you right now? Where are you right now?
in the container.
Inside a container. And do whatever you want. Don't give a special treatment to container, okay? Just like you work in the Linux boxes, right? You work on it and do whatever you want and then get it done. Okay, so an exit. So like this, you have a Ubuntu container. Let me show you. Here, this is Ubuntu container. Docker execute it container ID bin bash. So this way you can go inside a container, do whatever you want and come out of it. Wonderful. Just like your laptop. I mean, some hardware is not there, physical hardware, but yeah, it's buying the hardware from the base machines only, right? Okay, so this is something which you can go inside it. Okay, now
Every
do
container,
you
every container
uh,
has this bin bash, or like how we know that bin bash is there.
see, every Linux container will have a bin bash. Why? So the reason is the bin bash or bin sh. If not bin bash, then sh will be there. So bin bash and sh is a part of the root file system. Okay, it's a fundamental file system, basic file system, base file system. So you will have it. So sh required. If you look at the kernel architecture, see here. So shell is on top of your kernel. So I hope you remember that. So uh, see here. So kernel space, all this thing you have it. User space, you have application and libraries, right? That is where you have shell. Now, this is better one. See here. Do you remember this image we studied in colleges also? We have a hardware, then kernel, then shell. That is what we have. Correct now? Kernel is equal to boot file system. Shell and application is a root file system. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah. So what I was saying, yeah. So you can go inside a container just like that. Okay. So that is the one. Now, how can I access the container from outside? So I think you know that this every container will get IP address. Inspect command will tell you. Okay. And container ID, and here you got this container. So ping this and see from you are able to access. Yes. So what is a HTTP containers has a HTTP, right? So hmm. So I think same IP address you can use for HTTP. I showed you last time also, but in I'm putting in the right way today because yesterday I wanted to show you only for the demo. See that it's accessible, right? Correct now?
Yes.
But how can I access from outside actually? It's a website, no HTTP. I am not enjoying this. So what to do? I am not enjoying this. So not able to access. Why? So guys,
You
little bit
can.
of network, yeah, little bit of networking concept. You need to be, start getting it. I'll tell you one thing important. Uh, in a DevOps engineering, you need to know everything. Okay, at architecture level, not in the deep dive level. So start building that knowledge. Okay, so right now what is happening in this case, there is a one VM I created somewhere, don't worry about that. And this is my home, and this is me. Okay, think simple way. And this is my laptop, and this is my laptop. I'm trying to connect from here to container which is running here, and mind it here. This node has a IP address, and this container also has IP address. Now the problem is this IP address which got the container got it. You know what? That is having the local scoping. Local scoping means, I'll put it in this way. So let's say this is let me tell you here. Deepak, are you there?
Yes.
So Deepak, you are my neighbor. You are staying in my next flat, next to my flat, and you also have laptop, and this is your home, and this is you. So can you connect to my laptop from your home to? I have my own internet. You have your own internet.
Mm, no.
No. Why? Because you have their own local network. I do have my own local network. Though we are using the same geo broadband, but we have our local scope, right? Correct now? So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you at the high level, not getting into the technicality of networking and all, but you'll have to get it. So yes, this container what you are running right now, they are running with a local bridge network, which I'll discuss sometime later. So that's the reason you cannot connect to this container from outside. I was here and I was able to connect inside, but from outside I cannot. So now the question is how to connect this container. So guys, tell me, can I connect to these machines, the VM?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can connect. So what will happen? What I will do, because I can connect from the my laptop to VM, and VM can connect to this container internally from the local network. So what is I'm doing? We are using port forwarding concept. That means I will hit to this IP address here, Ethernet 0, and Ethernet will transfer my traffic to the container network internally. ETH0, okay, that will happen from ETH0 to Docker network, and internally they will transfer. So this is called port forwarding. You know what, whole world is working with the port forwarding. So just try to read this in offline, some networking. Take a note, port forwarding, how it works, how this is impacting the networking accessibility around. So study those. That's one. Whole world, even AWS is port forwarded and all. You know that you get a two IP address. One is public, one is private. Private is real, public is a port forwarded. Okay, so now that is something which I will do that. So how do I do that? So guys, this container, the one which I am having, this is I can enable the port forwarding here, but lots of work is there. So I don't want to do that. So what to do? So Docker run. But the question is, what is run? So this I have not covered, correct now? So what is run? Anyone have idea what is run? All of you?
No, sir.
No.
No? Okay, so guys, do you have idea about the guys, do you have idea about the pull?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Do you have idea about the create?
Yes.
Do you have idea about start?
Yes.
If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.